Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Divine Presence, Part 1, from Sri Aurobindo. And it is so beautiful. But when the Karma Yogin has seen the Lord surrounding all things with his presence, and all things existing only as transitory manifestations, idols, or images in this divine reality, what follows? It follows that just as this tree or that mountain exists only as an image or manifestation in the divine reality, so also all creatures, men included, are merely images or manifestations in the same divine reality. In other words, what is real, living, eternal in you and me is not our body, nor our vitality and its desires, nor our mind, nor our reason and understanding, but just the divine presence which pervades me and you as much as it pervades the tree and the mountain. And it is not the body, vitality, mind, reason, or understanding which constitutes the presence of the Lord within us. For my body differs from yours, my vitality differs from yours, my mind differs from yours, my reason and understanding differ from yours. They differ even from themselves according to time and circumstances. But the Lord is one and unchanging. There must therefore be something deeper hidden within us than any of these things, something which is alone real, living, and eternal. This something is called in the Vedanta the Self. It is Brahman, or the Lord within each of his creatures. Such a man will quickly rise above joy and sorrow, success and failure, victory and defeat. For in sorrow, as in joy, he will feel himself to be near God. That nearness will deepen into continual companionship, and by companionship he will grow ever like God in his spiritual image, until he reaches the last summit of complete identity, when man, the God who has forgotten his Godhead, remembers utterly and becomes the eternal selflessness. Then is the real and only law of renunciation, in the love of one's wider self in others. It has its rise by the feeling of the divine presence in all earthly objects. It becomes rooted and unshakable. The realization of the Brahman is its completion and goal. The first principles of Karma Yoga arise from the realization of the eternal as a great and divine presence which pervades and surrounds all things, so that it is impossible to direct one's thought, speech, or actions to thing or person without directing them to Him. He pervades the cosmos and contains the cosmos, as ether pervades the earth and contains the earth, and not only the cosmos as a whole, but every particular object and force in the cosmos. This tree is pervaded and surrounded by the Divine Presence. Not, be it clearly understood, by a part of it, but by Brahman, one and indivisible. The presence of God is as complete in one small flower as in the whole measureless universe. So also the Spirit in man is not a fragment of deity, but the eternal Himself in His immutable majesty. The self in me is not merely a brother to the self in you, or of one kind with it, but is completely and utterly yourself. For there is no you or I, but one eternal, immutable, in many names and forms, one reality in many transient and perishable frames. For that which is within us is the Divine Presence, and that which is in others is the same Divine Presence. To remember this is worth all the moral teachings and ethical doctrines in the world. Live always as if you are under the very eye of the Supreme and of the Divine Mother. Do nothing, try to think and feel nothing that would be unworthy of the Divine Presence. 16 April 1930. You write, one can feel the Divine Consciousness impersonally as a new consciousness only, but that the Mother's presence is something more. You also wrote in another letter that the Divine Presence in the heart is much more than the consciousness. In what way is the presence more than the consciousness? Sri Aurobindo, I meant that one can feel the Divine Consciousness as an impersonal spiritual state, a state of peace, light, joy, wideness, without feeling in it the Divine Presence. The Divine Presence is felt as that of one who is the living source and essence of that light. A being, therefore, not merely a spiritual state. The Mother's presence is still more concrete, definite, personal. It is not that of someone unknown, of a power or being, but of one who is known, intimate, loved, to whom one can offer all the being in a living, concrete way. The image is not indispensable, though it helps. The presence can be inwardly felt without it. Question: is it true that one should feel that it is the Divine Presence which moves one, and does everything for one, would it be possible to feel it without a union with the Divine Mother? Sri Aurobindo: no. That is itself a union with her. To feel the Divine Presence above or in you and moving you. 14 July 1933. Namaste.